Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to come your way again. Good to know you're doing good. Well, I just listened to the broadcast, normal media broadcast, latest media broadcast of our own Dr. Ngozi Arabueze, the Deputy Prime Minister of the redeclared United States of Biafra. I'm happy to know that she's doing well. I'm happy that she's very optimistic that the redeclared United States of Biafra is gradually gaining momentum. I'm very much excited at the fact that yes, she still sees the dream, she still pursues the dream, and she still sees hope, and the aspirations of Biafra people to achieve a sovereignty, this national sovereignty, as something very feasible, and she's working towards it. I'm happy equally at some of the revelations she has made. I'm happy to note that yes, the Biafran people are very much in support of ongoing efforts to make sure Mazen Namdekanu gets the best treatment, get the best medical team for his health challenges. We see all the effort being put in place, including her, salute and, her expressed satisfaction with, the activities, the legal representation of the defense attorney led by Chief Kanu Agabe, 2 times attorney Attorney General of the Federation and 2-time Minister for Justice of Nigeria when it was still a country. I think she saluted his courage and his efforts, and she highly eulogized Chief Kanu Agabe for doing a great job in the defense of Mazen Namdekanu. Of course, she equally, praised the efforts of other leading legal authorities, including, of course, Loisus Jumako, and the coitura of legal team who are handling the defense, capably handling the defense of Mazi Namdekanu. She eulogized them and she patted them at the back and wished them more grace to their elbows. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, the big one for me, and it should be a big one for all of us, the big one is her, eloquent narration that Simon Ekpa's appeal is coming up on the 8th of October. 8th of October, on the 8th of October, Wednesday, the 8th of October. And she said all efforts have been put in place to make sure Finland does not sit comfortable anymore. Of course, she mentioned a whole lot of attorneys, international attorneys of very great repute, very high repute, who have volunteered. They have gone through the Finnish authorities' legal procedure. They have gone through the so-called trial. They have reviewed everything, and they have come out with very strong positions, demanding immediately that a whole lot of things were wrong at that trial. That the Finnish authorities acted like, of course, they forgot about the constitution of Finland. They forgot the fact that they were an European country. They forgot the fact that they belonged to the European Union. They forgot the fact that, of course, the international world was watching. They unfortunately behaved like any other zoo country, any other African country that lacked democracy, that lacked the rule of law, and that didn't respect, fairness, equity, and justice. Three pillars, triple pillars of justice. So we were very much elated. I was particularly elated by the fact that 8th of October is Simon Ekpa's appeal day. So, ladies and gentlemen, are we looking forward to it? Ladies and gentlemen, are you with me here? Are you also as excited as I am to know that our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, will have another opportunity, yes, to challenge what has been described as one of the gravest erroneous convictions of all times in the history of political struggles in the world. Yes, take it or leave it. Finland has acted shamefully. Alex Stubbs' government has shown that, yes, indeed, it's not only the third world countries, it's not only African poor nations that can be compromised, that can be gullible, that has a price. Because, of course, we know within Africa, within especially the poor countries, we say justice has a price. We say the highest bidder, of course, gets justice. That's what we say all the time, especially by politicians in the third world countries. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Finland here. We're talking of a big, massive European country. We're talking of a country that has signed several treaties with the European Union, a country that has affiliations with Latin America, a country that has affiliations with the United States of America, a country that is big enough, several years experience as a country that has evolved, that has developed, and that has become a great, impactful European nation. How could Finland have fallen so low? How did Alexander Stubb's government decide to dance naked for a Milocon? What did they want? What did Finland lack that they couldn't get elsewhere? What have they not gotten? Why should Finland dance naked? Because, of course, they had been compromised by a Milocon and, of course, the Nigerian greedy, corrupt officials. Ladies and gentlemen, when the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Arobweze, made that speech, she spoke what made my mind glad. I mean, this is was like a breath of fresh air. I mean, all this while hearing melancholic news about the health of our maximum leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, all the while saddened by the fact that his appeal to be moved to the National Hospital Abuja was turned into a political jamboree. Of course, we saw justices washing their hands. We saw somewhat the Fulani judge, like Justice Lehman, Musa Lehman, washing his hands clean and saying, I'm off you, go back to the Chief Justice. Let him assign you to somebody else. I wouldn't do this. The recess of the judges is all over. We saw somebody like Justice Kolawole Motosho of the Federal High Court of Abuja, who is in charge of, who is supposed to be an unbiased umpire in Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's case. We saw how he treated the matter with levity, listening to the to the prosecuting attorneys led by Adegboyega Molowo, who came up to say, look, we don't think Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is actually saying the truth. We don't think his life or his health is as challenging as it looks. We don't think this man, can comfortably, sustain the claim that his health is failing. We have doctors. We have doctors at the DSS structures who can handle his case. In fact, these doctors, this medical personnel are worldwide. They can handle him. Why does he want to go to Abuja or a national hospital? Does he have plans to escape? Does he have plans to hide? He must have an ulterior motive. You know what he did last time when he was put on bail, when Enina Baribe signed bail for him. He eloped, he jumped bail. This could be another ploy. This could be a move. It had been carefully scripted. This is another attempt to jump bail. It's another attempt, to disappear. If he disappears now, where are you going to get him from? Where will you get him from? If Mazen Nnamdi Kanu runs away this time, how will you get him again? So Nigeria should be very careful. Nigeria shouldn't give him this chance. Let him remain at the DSS dungeon. Let them continue to treat him there. And if his health fails, well, unfortunately, that is the course of nature. Yes, that is natural. That is natural. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can imagine the insensitivity of a judge. You can imagine the sensitivity of the prosecuting attorneys. There's such a son, a man in the capacity of such a son, for that matter, Adegboyega, Amolowo. It's a sad one. I mean, we are talking of somebody's health here, regardless whether Nnamdi Kanu is a Biafran or not, regardless whether he's talking about the wickedness meted to his people, regardless whether he's talking about the plight of Biafrans, regardless whether he said enough is enough. His people should be treated with respect, with dignity. His people should be given a chance to grow and live and let live. His people should be given their rights as people who played fundamental roles since the amalgamation of this Nigeria in 1914. His people should be respected, given their right of place, because leaders, political leaders, came up from the southeast, came up from Biafra, and fought vigorously, tirelessly, indefatigably to achieve independence from the British authorities. Why should this region, why should the southeast, why should Biafra land be now a region that should be subjugated, treated like social pariahs, like beggars, people who have been defeated in war. Why is that war, civil war that was fought since 67, 68, 69, 70? Why should it continue to re-echo even in 2025? Why should the Biafra man not be able to drink his water and drop his cup? Live and let live. Enough is enough. Consider the plight of the Biafrans. This is what Mazen Namdekano said. And this is why he has attracted so much hatred, pathological hatred from every corner, even from so-called judges. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought a judge should have taken oaths of office where they would say they'll be blind to tyranny and oppression, where they claim they must be fair to all concerned, irrespective of, whose ox is God. I thought a judge would at every point in time uphold the tenets of the rule of law. Unfortunately, in Nigeria's situation, of course, unfortunately, in the zoo, such are qualities very, very rare indeed, very rare. I guess those qualities flew away. They flew away way back before this country there was a country. Ladies and gentlemen, our prolific writer, great man, late Professor Chinua Achebe, he said it. He said Nigeria has become a country that used to be. When somebody describes another person in the past tense, it means a whole lot of things have completely deteriorated. And then when you are described in the past tense, it means that things have fallen apart. Things have fallen apart irretrievably. Things are no longer at ease. Things have fallen apart. And of course, the center cannot hold again. So that was why our prolific writer, late Professor Chinua Achebe, described Nigeria as there was a country. I guess then when there was a country was when the judiciary could still enjoy the appellation, the arbiter of the final of the common man. It was then that you could say the judiciary could be free and fair. It was then you could have said the triple pillars of justice, fairness, equity, and justice would prevail. But unfortunately, under Emilio Con's tenure, unfortunately, under Emilio Con and the Jagaban Empire, what we have now is judiciary for sale to the highest bidder. Judiciary for sale to the highest bidder. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this is what has now happened in Simon Ekpa's case. Because Simon Ekpa dared to toe the lines of Mazen Namdekano, because Simon Ekpa dared to take the baton from Mazen Namdekano and told the Finnish authorities that enough is enough. Enough is enough. We must move on. We must go on. Biafrans have suffered enough. Why are you treating them this way? Why are you treating them that way? Why can they not develop? Why can they not aspire like every other person? Why can they not lead the country? The country where they were part and parcel in 1914 during the amalgamation. Why is it that these people who fought for independence are now being treated hollow, treated desperately, despicably, treated like a conquered people? Because he dared to say that the Nigerian authorities swore with their life. They swore with their life that we have arrested Mazen Namdekano. We've gotten Mazen. We're going now for Simon Ekpa. And of course, they did all they could. They made sure they manipulated Finnish authorities. Finland, unfortunately, Finland fell to the enticement, to the gifts, to the motivations of the Jagaban. Ladies and gentlemen, brace up. The Deputy Prime Minister said it all. 8th of October, Wednesday precisely, just a few days from now, 2 days from now precisely, Simon Ekpa's appeal will be heard for the first time in Finland. And I tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen, this time around, the Finnish authorities won't find it funny. It will not be funny at all because they've been given a chance. They blew their chance. You know how the Americans say it? You were given a chance to prove yourself, but you blow it. You blow it. And so this time around, if you're not careful, you're going to be in trouble. That's what the Americans are saying. That's what the 47th president of the United States is saying. That's what world leaders are saying worldwide. That's what the international community is saying. All eyes, ladies and gentlemen, all eyes are focused. All eyes are on Finland for 8 October 2025. Guess what? Guess what? A whole lot of people, international lawyers of great repute, they will be standing, telling the world, telling the Finnish authorities, look at what we saw in your judgment. Look at what we saw in your trial. Why did you take this path? Why didn't you go this way? Why didn't you narrow this way? You could have avoided this. You could have said that. Why were you all of a sudden in a hurry to convict Simon Ekpa? Why the hurry? Why didn't you consider this? Why didn't you go through this process? Why didn't you take enough time to articulate, to review some of the so-called findings you have made since you were doing your findings? Why were you suddenly in such a hurry to convict him? What were you doing? Were you under, by any means, were you under an oath to be in a hurry? Was there something involved? Is there something the whole world doesn't know? Is there something Emilio Conde Jagaban, the emperor, said to you, did to you, or gave to you? Ladies and gentlemen, I guess wherever Alexander Stubb is now, he's not finding it funny. He's not breathing easy. No, you can't be breathing easy when you have compromised. You can't be breathing easy when the 47th president of the United States is breathing on your neck. Yeah, for crying out loud. How can you breathe easily when Donald Trump, the man who has been described as a bull in the China shop, a bull in a China shop, how can you be breathing easily when he's breathing behind your neck, behind your back? Ladies and gentlemen, Alexander Stubbs, Finland is in trouble. I mean, you have convicted an innocent man. Take it or leave it. This is a man who had been in Finland physically for a very long time, became a citizen, worked in your political parties, worked in your association, worked in your transport ministry. This is a man who has not been come back to Nigeria back to back now for a very long time. Yet you are convicting him based on hearsay, based on gossips, based on false proclamations of a warped government, a clueless government that has completely ruined the economy of its people. I mean, a man who said, it is my turn. And people thought when he said it was his turn that he had something to offer. We didn't know it was going to be a hashtag impoverished, poverty-stricken, hardship government. I mean, this is a country that, basically now Nigerians have been described as endangered species. I mean, nothing is coming. All the so-called economic plans have turned out to be mere fables. Nothing is working. All nothing. Mirage. Promising here, petroleum, you can't buy the gases anymore. You can't buy the fuel anymore. You can't buy, you can't generate, and nothing is working. The dollar to naira difference is depreciating the highest at the lowest possible level. Naira cannot breathe. Naira has been completely suffocated by the dollar. And yet you call yourself a Milokon. It is my turn. I'm the Jagaban. Everything I say is law. You've not done 2 years. You've not achieved anything. You're looking towards 2027. Is that what Finland? Is that what Alexander Stubb is interested in? How much? What did he give to Alexander Stubb? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy on Wednesday the 8th is the D-Day. And I know Finnish authorities are sweating it out. They're sweating it out because they convicted an innocent man. They were dancing to the gallery for the Jagaban. They thought when they grabbed Simon Ekpa would be history. They thought that would be the end of it. They didn't know the man had already sowed the seeds. They didn't know he had already created a formidable, a Gangatuan. He had laid the precedent for a country. Yes, for the redeclared sovereign United States of Biafra. He has passed the baton down to Dr. Ngozi Orabueze. SY Chief of Staff, now Deputy Prime Minister, and of course the sagacious, the very indefatigable, the cerebral, of course the woman who knows it all. Yes, Dr. Ngozi Arabueze has continued to maintain the pace, the standard, the quality, the excellence required of a good leader. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 October is a date to watch with. We know this time around, this miscarriage of justice in the case of Simon Ekpa will be a thing of the past. The lawyers, the attorneys, international attorneys, they would chew, they would digest, they would dissect, they would completely, not just review, preview, but of course, we will be hearing powerful, positive messages from Finland from the 8th, Wednesday, October 2025. Because of course, we know our own Simon, dear Simon, is innocent. Our own dear, beloved Simon Ekpa is innocent and he's going to walk out free. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not as excited as I am, I don't know what else you'll be excited about. This is something that calls for celebration. We should all be awake less than 48 hours from now. Yes, we will see Simon Ekpa's practical appeal for his, a reconsideration of his misplaced, miscalculated, and aborted judgment. It's a miscarriage of justice. Finland is in the news, and of course, like I said, Alexander Stubbs is not a happy man now. I don't wish to be in his shoes. I don't wish to be in the shoes of the Finnish legal authorities. I don't wish to be in the shoes of Alexander Stubbs right now, because a whole lot is happening. The whole world, the international eyes, all the mass media, social media, judicial, international conventions, international judicial convention will assemble at Finland, waiting, watching, watching with all eyes wide open, with ears to the ground. Every information, every sentence, every cross of the T, every dot of the I's, every footstep will be considered. And we will now see how the Jagaban will react when finally he has the bloody news. He has the bloody news blazing forth as Simon Ekpa's appeal has succeeded and he has received an unconditional freedom at last. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom is sure. Yes, Simon Ekpa will never be history. Simon Ekpa is a just man, representing a just people who are pursuing a just cause. Yes, everything the Biafrans are demanding for is a just cause. And all the people who represent Biafra, people like Onyendo Mazanambe Kanu, are just men. People like Simon Ekpa, just people. People like Dr. Ngozi Arabueze, not just eloquent, not just brilliant, not just excellent, but she's a just woman, a pious woman. And so, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in many weeks, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward with happiness, with excitement, with great expectations. I'm positive. Yes, freedom. Freedom is becoming. Freedom is becoming for Simon Ekpa. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian authorities were celebrating from the day he was convicted. Yes, Yusuf Tuga, all of them were celebrating. Our own Bianca Ojukwu were celebrating. Finally, Simon is off the bench. Simon is off the way. He will languish in prison. For these 6 years, there will be peace all over. Nobody will talk about Biafra anymore. There will be no more talk about Biafra. Nobody will remember Biafra. Even the Nigerian government say, yes, soon, very soon, even Nnamdi Kanu will be history. We'll soon dispense with him. So Biafra, the struggle for Biafra will die naturally. They didn't know they were living in a fool's paradise. They didn't know they were deceiving themselves. They didn't know it was a celebration too early. You don't celebrate too early. Like the child whose mother came back from market first, and then the child runs and starts locking the gate, but locking everywhere. Are you locking the gate? Don't you know that people's mommy might come? Are you locking the gate? You don't know delay is not denial? Are you locking the gate thinking that's the end of the day? No way. The gates will still be open. Of course, other mothers will come. and they'll come with goodies for their children. Of course, that's a baby's thinking. That's the way babies do their things. But Nigerian government is not a baby. Why celebrate too early? Why would you begin to celebrate? Begin to tell the Finnish authorities, you've done well. We are right with you. The Jagaban is proud of you. Could do quick. Let him do the 6 years. Extradite him down to Nigeria, and we'll take it off from there. We'll triple it for him. By the time we're done with him, he'll be sorry. His life will be sorry. That's what they said. That's what they thought could happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving you the breaking news right now. For the first time in many weeks, in fact, I'm so happy, indeed very glad. It made my day when I listened to Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ngozi Arabueze saying it with love. She said it. Yes, I want to tell you all that on the 8th of October, is the D-Day. It's a day every Biafran is looking forward to, because my master, Simon Ekpa, our own Prime Minister, will commence his appeal on that day. And we have formidable lawyers of international repute, people who are grounded in judicial reforms, judicial matters, people who are grounded, whose submissions you can't joke with. These are people who are grounded in advocacy. They have reviewed the case. They have crossed every T's. They have dotted every I. They have looked at the pros and cons, and they have seen that a whole lot was amiss. A whole lot was amiss indeed in Finland when Simon Ekpa was convicted. That was a miscarriage of justice. Ladies and gentlemen, less than 20, well, let's say 48 hours now, we'll know what's trending. We'll see how it is. And so I don't want to, let me not spoil your fun. Let me not throw too much, let me not spoil your boogie. I want you to rest, prepare yourself, look forward to it, October rather, 2025. We are talking of Wednesday. Today is already Monday. Monday is getting almost to the noonday now. And here we are. We're looking at another, at most 48 hours, and we'll be stepping into, the 8th. We'll be stepping into the courts of Finland. Yes, Lahti, Finland, where we'll meet, let's stop face to face with all the legal authorities who pronounce this miscarriage of justice, people who aborted justice, people who, for selfishness, self-seeking, misadventures, self-seeking predilections on their part, they decided to abort justice. They decided, to convict an innocent man who stood for his people, who fearlessly said, let my people be. I have collected the baton from Nnamdi Kanu, and that Nnamdi Kanu is my mentor. He has sufficiently exposed to me that the Biafran people, my people, are suffering, and they keep suffering. They have suffered enough. It's enough is enough, because of course, if you don't want the people, let them go. If you don't like your wife, divorce her and let her go. You don't keep her inside the house and begin to bring other women in. You don't disrespect her like that. That is what Nigeria is doing to Biafra. That is what they're doing to people of the Southeast. You say we are part of you, and yet every time opportunity comes, you don't give us the job. Every time opportunity comes, you don't give us the leadership. Every time opportunity comes for development, you don't develop our cities. We have no international airports. We have no international railway system, where people are building railway systems from Katsina down to Niger, to Chad, to Mali. Why are we completely, totally ignored? And you call us one of you. We cannot ascend to the highest position of the land. You say we are one of you. Our men are given quadruple taxations when they do business. People who want to import business, people who want to do their farming and not giving rails to move their product. People who are into import business will have to traverse several states. They have to go to Abuja. They have to go to Lagos. They have to go to, where would they not go, just to bring in their goods and come and sell? You make life so difficult for all of us, and you still tell us we are part and parcel of this country? No way. No way. If you don't want them, let them go. If you don't need the Biafrans, they have said, okay, we have seen you don't want us. We have seen you don't need us. Let us go. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 October 2025 is a date with history. Simon Ekpa's appeal will come. That conviction of 6 years, we're looking. We know it will never stand the test of time. God bless you. God bless you and prosper you as we wait for the D-Day. Thank you and bye-bye.